18th April of this year. I would like to call Dharitri Patnaik, Chairperson for Bhubaneswar, to give the welcome address.
Thanks, Namrita. Namaste. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Tattvam Asi. And this is about mental health. And the COVID pandemic has. Can you please mute? Everyone? Yeah, thank you. So the COVID pandemic has not only affected us physically, but it has had huge mental health impact. The anxiety, the fear, the stress, and it's affected everyone. It's just not our lives, but our livelihoods. It's just not about the poor or the rich or those who have lost their jobs or the businesses or people, the daily wage earners. It's just everyone whose lives have been affected with this pandemic. And what we've seen that the initial days, months, even now, the focus has been on the infection rates, on the hospitalization, on the physical aspect. We've not focused much on the mental health, although NIMHANS has initially responded, and of course they're working a lot, and so are a few organizations, but still it's not on the priority list for the government or for many of the organizations. We've been affected by it personally, and also our friends and near and dear ones. Mental health is not just because of the pandemic, it's always there. And the stigma attached to people seeking support or help for mental health or illness is tremendous. And that's why people do not seek support or reach out to others. And today's webinar is going to discuss about what is it, how are we affected, what do we need to do, because we've come across in the last 2 months 8 suicides in our state, and it's happening all over India. Of course, we've had a celebrity who committed suicide, and that has influenced many young people, and especially the students have been affected by this. So this whole webinar is about, let's discuss what is it that we need to take care of. How do we, all of us, because it's not just to leave it to the experts, but each of us can become compassionate, can identify certain symptoms and then refer them to the experts, or even talk to people, because what usually happens is we all need to talk to each other, and that's what is not happening during this pandemic time. And the stress, our frontline workers are working day in and day out, especially our government people, those in the ICTS, the ANMs, the Anganwadi workers, the teachers, Asha Karmis, they're constantly working. The stress that they are going through, people who are at home will not understand. We are worried about our offices, our work, our business, but these people are working in quarantine centers. They're working day in, day out, supporting people in the villages, in the cities, in the slums. So there's a huge range of people who are affected and largely affected by this pandemic, or who we need to take care of. So today we have 3 guests with us. And before I go to them, I would also like to say on March 29th, Flow Bhubaneswar chapter, along with Hamara Bachpan Trust, started a helpline. And we reached out to more than 1,000 people, mostly migrant workers, women, children, and we did family counseling also. We reached out to domestic violence cases. So we reached out to more than 1,016 people. And then we kind of taken a pause. But now we again started our phase 2 of reaching out to those who have been infected and are hospitalized, their family members, and the COVID frontline workers. And today we have with us Dr. K. Sekar. Um, Good evening, and nice to see you after 2 decades. In 1999, Dr. Sekar trained my team's Sneha Abhiyan in ActionEd India on psychosocial counseling. That at that time was a totally new concept, and we all learned. And since then, we've utilized and used it in every aspect of our work, in every disaster. Welcome, Dr. Sekar. We have with us Arun Botra, Mr. Arun Botra, IPS, MD Croot, and Namrita is going to introduce him in a much better way. But Mr. Botra is not only an officer, but a marvelous human being who's always there for everyone, not only for his friends, but every citizen. Middle of the night, any time of the day, he's there to help. And he started something very, very interesting. He responded to the pandemic in such a different manner that no officer has done. He's gone beyond his official duties. And he's today here as an individual and not an officer. I would like to state that as a human being, and we will have a better, much in-depth discussion with him. And last, we have Dr. Ronak Gandhi, physician. Welcome, Dr. Gandhi. Kem Cho, and we're very, very happy to have you with us. Dr. Gandhi is a physician and a healer, a very interesting person, and his journey is worth listening to. And the purpose, and someone who's in search for the purpose of his life, and not only his life, but others. So we have these three guests with us. Let's go ahead and discuss. So, and have your questions. If you have your questions, put it in the chat box. We've already received a few questions, which Namrita will take after all the three panelists have spoken. Then we will have a question answer session. Thank you all for coming on a weekend, and special thanks to the panelists who have agreed to come on a weekend. So let's start. Thank you.
Thank you, Dharitri. So as Dharitri put across, we have three eminent personalities here today as our panelists. And it gives me great pleasure to introduce the first panelist, Dr. Sekhar. Dr. Sekhar is a professor and registrar in NIMHANS, Bangalore. The National Institute of Mental Health and Neurosciences is a premier medical institution located in Bangalore. Dr. Sekhar heads the Center for Disaster Management. His areas of interest are mental health and psychosocial support in disaster mental health services. Well known in the field of mental health and medical and psychiatric social work, Dr. Sekhar has been associated with Orissa since 1999, where he trained ActionAid India's frontline workers during the rehabilitation stage of Orissa's super cyclone. Dr. Sekhar, over to you, please.
Okay, I'll have. So I would like to start a question, and maybe that's how we'll interact. So I wanted to know, Dr. Sekhar, you've seen, you had the disaster management of natural disasters. I think this is the first time in history when a pandemic has affected each of us. And so can you please tell us how this has been different from all the other disasters you've been handling, and how has NIMHANS responded?
It has been a very, very, an emotional reunion for me back to Orissa, along with Dharitri Patnaik, whom we had spent quite a lot of time in Arasamma, Balikuda, and other places way back, which actually brought in a large amount of a lesson, what I learned, not only about Orissa, the people of Orissa, the state of Orissa, and the way they had been able to shape my life to what I am today. I should be putting the entire thing onto Orissa only. And yes, we had been working in the area of natural disasters or man-made disasters, which were the earlier type of a thing for almost now 4 decades. And what I would like to say is that it is not that this is the first pandemic we are working with. We have been working with epidemic situations. A slide, I'll come in another 2-3 minutes. But before starting with those sort of issues, I would like to lay in front of you that when we are talking about the health, it is just not the psychological or the social, but the biological issues which are interconnected and which influences each other. So health promotion must always address all these 3 factors, wherein both the nature as well as the nurturing issue comes to us. wherein the body, mind, and the society, which are dynamic, and whatever we eat or drink or becomes our body, whatever we look at the other things of it forms the mind. Now, this is the history of pandemics. It's not a new thing in the global scenario. It started with 430 BC with the Athenian plague, and we have almost everything. But coming to the 19th and 20th century, you see a very high rise from 2001 to 2020, which almost works out to be almost every 2 years we have one of the epidemics which had been threatening us to become a pandemic sort of a issue. Fortunately, we had been able to control, and I am all assuring you that we will also get through this particular 2020 coronavirus as early as possible. That's a positive message with which I want to talk. Why is COVID-19 different? It is not that we had been working only in natural disasters. Apart from that, currently we are concentrating more on CBRN, chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear. These are the new forms of disasters what we have to look forward in this particular century. And why COVID-19 is different from the earlier one, it is because of the absence of a cure or a vaccine immediately. Each one of us need to undergo until we get a herd immunity. When I mean to say herd immunity, all of us have the skill to oppose any virus which comes into us, but the coronavirus intrudes into the body as well as our physiological, as well as the other situation. And there's a bit of a lack of understanding among the healthcare professionals on this. Absence of short-term or a long plan for managing the pandemic, not only in India, but world over. And that is the reason why there was not a community preparedness for this issue. What are the mental health issues like that three was asking us? First and foremost, every one of us are having fear. We are overwhelmed by the type of work activities which are going on. Remember back in 1970s, if you'd have been born, you would have been knowing that after 7 o'clock, all the lights had been to be put off because of the India-China war and things like that. And people get overwhelmed sort of messages today because more than the pandemic, it's an infodemic in terms of the type of messages what we get in social media and other things. And we become angry for reasons. When this comes into us, it's more not an emotional sort of a thing, but a psychomotor activity. What did my 3-month-old child do? Why this has to come to my child? Why it has to affect my grandfather who is 80-year-old? What sin he has done? And a lot of confusion each and every day. Today is a lock, and they are saying unlock 1, unlock 2. What does it mean by that? And there is a higher increase in the substance usage. And denying that I have not got anything, though I might be positive without a symptom. But at the end of the day, like in any other disaster, it creates a large amount of a distress, not only for you, for me, for everybody in the community and society. And this sort of a distress brings in a biological reaction of either a decreased sleep and lack of concentration, which is more physical, psychological reaction and a physiological reaction. I would like to inform the viewers what the reactions you are undergoing are very normal reactions. Don't be thinking that you are alone undergoing these reactions. Everyone are undergoing because the situation is abnormal. So carry the first message that these are normal reactions to an abnormal situation for which you and me do not have an answer by tomorrow what would be that. Why is there a panic during this sort of a disaster, pandemic situation? The panic is because of the increased confusion, uncertainty, what is going to be there tomorrow, whether I'll be able to get my sabji for tomorrow's cooking, whether the supply of milk will be there, or what happens if this particular newspaper boys brings in a COVID along with them. And today, the issue is coming, it is a human-to-human transmission rather than just the other type of a transmission. And WHO recently is classifying that this need not be only a droplet based, but a very 1% of the thinness of these droplets can stay even on the air. So this has brought in a large amount of a helplessness, a hopelessness, and a sort of a thing whether I would be alive. These are all some cardinal symptoms of the very basic, larger morbidity, what we call as depression. And this is more undiagnosed and underreported because people think I should not be talking about these feelings. That is the first mistake what we are doing. We need to talk about this until a biological vaccine is identified, and the absence of vaccine is one another issue which causes a thing. What are the common stresses each one of us are undergoing? The common sort of stressors what we are undergoing is not only the psychological stress, but also in case of a comorbidity. Any person over the age of 40 or 50 do have the comorbidity of certain lifestyle diseases like diabetes or blood pressure or COPD, that is the thing in terms of lungs and other thing, and lack of community sense and work in spite of unlocking. What are the necessities, what we need to getting over and over about that, and the bereavement of some of our persons with whom we had been, that causes a large amount of stress. I am not able to take part in that particular bereaving sort of a thing physically because of the restrictions. Yes, this bereavement is one of the largest stressor, and dislocation and separation. What is my son doing in Delhi? I don't know. इनका तबीयत कैसा है वो भी पता नहीं. Or the aged parents, what are they doing? How are they? And migration is one of the largest issue. What we had seen either with Orissa or Bihar or Chhattisgarh, any one of the state you take, this is one of the larger sort of a migration of the persons. And we need to agree and go about that it has brought in a large amount of a dysfunction in the people because the normal routines have been disturbed. Severe social exclusion, not by means of just keeping oneself socially isolated. Indians are more known to emote themselves, to show their emotions by being together. And the threat to life is one another situation which brings in, and a large amount of unemployment and poverty, and the poor social support networks which has come. Basically, friends, I would like to say that the impact of COVID-19 is not only mental health, but that of the social, psychological, physical, and economic. Psychological impacts are that you have irritability, loss of interest, reduced activity, restlessness, increased alcohol or smoking, or preoccupation, worry, inability to cope up, or in terms of fear, helplessness, sadness, hypervigilance. What will I do if in case it comes? Whether I'll be able to get a bed in a hospital, whether they will take care of me. And anxiety, which has a larger amount of a palpitation of your heart, as well as some of them do go to the extent, oh, I have been found positive, I should not be going back. Rather, should I think about suicide, anger, crying with the fear of getting infected, sleep disturbances, heart pounding, lack of energy, lack of concentration. These are all the symptoms of the mental health issues which are there within us, and which gets added or fueled up much higher the social stigma. Oh, in that house, this particular person has got, nobody should go. The cordon off is done not for that, but the spread should be contained. Even in a simple malarial infection, the first and foremost thing what we do is to keep the person away, the family to be cordoned, and then that particular small area to be contained. This is something like a forest fire. When a forest fire is there, we need to learn from the Africans that they used to contain by putting a fire in a circular format so that it is getting contained there. So this is something equivalent to that. Put up a circle around and think that this area, if you are able to contain, the fire will not be able to come out of the thing. Don't stigmatize people on that. And displacement of the loved ones and the family members change of the role and responsibility, disagreement, because most of the time we are within a family, and more amount of interaction brings in both agreements and disagreements. Unemployment is causing a higher impact. Social distancing is making people to think this was not the way. Postponement or cancellation of various events like marriages, family gatherings, and social events, which we as social animals had been wanting to have it. A small little change at the level of a family could create ripples to the national level. But now think about a global level ripple which has occurred, which is affecting the countries, wherein it is affecting not only the family, the children, the parents, and the spouse or the relatives, the job or the no recreation facilities and all. Now coming to the physical impact, you could have headache, you could have tense muscles, you could have palpitation, you could have poor appetite or even overeating just because you're staying back at home, sleep disturbances, reduced activity, tiredness and lack of energy. The economic impact, which is we are going to see not just today and tomorrow, this would be there for almost the next 2 to 3 years on which we have to go through, because there is a sharp rise in unemployment, stress on the supply chains, decrease in the government income, collapse of tourism industry, like in Puri, when I was seeing the Rath Yatra, this was not the Rath Yatra we had seen for years together. But at least we are happy that we had been able to do that. Collapse of the hospitality industry, reduced consumer activity, all these. These are making some group of persons to go in for a higher level of looking at certain lifestyle changes of increased smoking or consumption of alcohol, which are not good in this particular situation. We are also hearing about quite a bit of a family violence, wife battering, child neglect, and a lot of mental illness associated with it. This graph clearly shows you that it is very common at the time of this sort of a pandemic. There is a large amount of a panic attack, generalized anxiety, a large amount of a somatic complaints, though there is no physical symptom, and emotional problems like irritability, apprehension, numbness. I am very sure that this will come down, which is at the peak of almost about 90% of people are having these sort of symptoms. But over a period of time, be assured that it will be contained. But at the time of containment, we might have depression, anxiety, and severe stress reaction among a group of people, including post-traumatic stress disorder, which might crop up along with it. These are the particular needs, what we have during the COVID, the basic needs of the people. Vulnerable groups, kindly keep in mind, and the focus is on physical and the safety needs in the hierarchy. When we are talking about physical needs, keep talking about the three issues of social distancing, as well as having a mask, as well as the hand sanitation, which is going to take you over a longer period. And these are as important needs after the basic needs. Human beings during the situation like COVID-19 are moving into a survival mode until the virus is going to be contained. But there is no need to panic at that level. It will be contained. That is what the thing. So we need to make progress in three fronts to avoid the negative outcomes of the thing. We need to have more information, and I thank Daritri for bringing in a large number of participants at this sort of a thing, who will be able to get some amount of a scientific information, as well as more of a solidarity from our side, and to put it in action. Every individual needs to follow the type of a thing so that they could contain the thing. And what you need to do as a person, kindly listen to them, kindly comfort them, and reassure that things will come over to normalcy at the earliest. And for this, have your support system much, much clearer and well bound to each one. Each of you, I know, are coming from any one of these sectors, and you could be one of the basic warrior who could provide a large amount of help in doing the work what I told earlier. And for that, have very simple technique with you. ventilation, something like a pressure cooker. Each one is boiling inside. So just see the safety valve is opened up, they will be able to ventilate a lot. When they are doing so, have an active listening to them. Empathize, meaning to say, put yourself in that position and give them ways and means how they can externalize the interest, small little thing like polishing the nail, to that of putting a rangoli or to do certain activity, relaxation, and some amount of spirituality and social support can be helpful. There's a large number of a vulnerable group. Kindly keep them in mind. The women, the migrants, as well as the police, as well as the healthcare workers, the sexual minorities, children, and even our Swachhata staff who are all there. What to do with our children? Allow them to express their feelings. You can just give them a dough, what you used to make for chapati, give it to them. They can model and let you know what are the type of feelings which are occurring within the family. Give them some sheets, allow them to work on some drawing, give them a large amount of thematic stories which they will be able to look at it, or ask them to write their feelings and reassure them most of the time and keep them in connect with the families and the friends. And my dear counselors who are there in this group, keep updated about the factual information, because the informations are changing every 24 hours. And being updated about the virus, because it is not, you have to do certain particular test which takes 48 hours or 24 hours. Recently, there are tests which can determine the things within 20 minutes. Knowing what are the government advisories, especially from the Ministry of Health, and proper assessment and analysis, and being resourceful and having the referrals along with you. Major challenges what we are finding today: limitations of certain online, all mental health services cannot be provided online, and inability to provide community mental health care services and follow up of the affected person. All these issues, we are trying to now go from NIMAN's experiences in terms of a national COVID-19 psychosocial helpline. You can make a note of this: 080-4611-0007, which is connected with about 19 of the states and union territories, 656 counselors, specifically mental health professionals are there, and these lines can answer in 12 of the languages, right from game show, majamecho, to that of hegidira, hingidira, engane whatever is the languages, whether we talk in Oriya. I'm thankful to KCG hospital where we are able to get the connectivity using Oriya. We had been able to look at almost about 3 lakh people who have approached this, and we are currently crossing 50,000 people whom we had been able to do this helpline. And various institutes and agencies are involved in this work, which are all tallest order of institutions which are providing this. Over and above that, the NIMAN's COVID website is having a large amount of information, brochures and videos and flyers and advisories for varied group. And we had been conducting a large amount of a awareness program, which you could see on the NIMAN's thing. And if there is a need for a telepsychiatric services, you can also consult the telepsychiatric services which are going on in NIMANS. The last but not the least, I would like to say, NIMANS and Orissa State Open University, we have started now an online training course of a 4-module for healthcare workers as well as the other support workers, Anganwadi workers, volunteers, NGO personnel, which talks about the basics and has about 4 parts. It is starting up. If you want, you can join this academy. They will be giving you in Oriya and things like that. And we are also there ready for any one of the organization who wants to have some webinar or training on psychosocial support for especially the women, children, migrants or other work group. And if there is going to be stress among the frontline workers, that also we will be able to take out. Lockdown is not the same for everyone. We can be together in the family, we can be happy. At the same time, we can also feel depressed the way it is shown. And My kind plea is that respect and care for the corona warriors who are there. And the last key message is we have overcome pandemics in the past. Keep that in mind. It is not that everybody died of cholera. Be hopeful that this too shall pass. Focus on what is under your control. Don't give ears to certain rumors. Change your perspective towards virus as well as life. It has to infect and affect a few. Support systems are very crucial for recovery. Keep them under your acceptance, adaptation, and adjustment, and moving are the key strategies during such crises. Thank you very much. Over to Dharitri. Namrita, it's over.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I think the Dharitri ma'am's connection must have got locked off. Thank you so much for that, sir. Our next panelist is Mr. Arun Bothra. Mr. Arun Bothra is the 1996 batch Orissa cadre IPS officer. He hails from a small village in Rajasthan. Mr. Bothra is multifaceted, a well-known police officer with many laurels to his list. He is also well known for his humanitarian work, especially during lockdown. No matter how much I speak about Mr. Bothra, it will not be enough. Sir, it is an honor to have you here with us today.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry, my electricity went off and I went offline. I'm so sorry about it.
Dharitri, now
Am I audible?
Mr. Bothra.
Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, you're audible.
My question to Mr. Bothra is, you've been an officer. I mean, you are an officer. And what brought out to the public this time during the pandemic was your humanitarian nature. You were there in the forefront and helping thousands of people. So how did you do it and what made you do it?
Dharitri, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks to all of you for calling me here first. And thanks to Namrata for very lavish things she told about me. Dharitri, I'm asking again, am I audible clearly?
Yes, you are. Gaurav,
okay.
Please put the spotlight on Mr. Bothra. But you are audible. You can go on. We can see you, but the spotlight is on.
No problem. No, not a problem. Not a problem. See, Dharitri, as you know, because we stay in the same city, I have been working in departments like police, electricity, bus service. All my departments have been something which is directly dealing with people, directly dealing with citizens. So I have been using social media for connecting to my clients, the people like citizens in for bus service, for electricity and police, of course. This time when this pandemic started, of course, bus services were stopped and there was a lockdown. I was also kind of coming to office, but not much of work was there. But then people who know me and they knew that this person has been responding about police related requests, about electricity, about buses and about other things, they started asking me for different kind of help, like medicine, passes, then food, say ration. Some people ask for cash also, of course, and various kinds of requests. Like, for example, one person sent a message that somebody has died in Tamil Nadu and his dead body was to be we required to be brought to Kendrapada in Odisha. Now they were totally distressed how to bring the dead body because there was no flight was operating and no trains were operating. So these kind of requests started coming, and I found that very genuine requests were there. I responded to a few of them, And then when you respond to something and people see you on social media responding to something, of course, more and more people started asking same kind of thing, different kind of things. And I also felt fulfilled. Let me tell you one more thing. In my 22 years of career, if somebody asks me that which particular period gave you the utmost satisfaction and made you happy personally, this was the time. Very, very difficult time, and no for everybody, for me also. But I could help so many people. This really made me happy. So, but the more importantly, when people started asking me for help, you will be happy and surprised to know that more people asked me if they could help. They could work with me. Yes, I got a lot of DMs because I opened my DM for people if they want to have any help, they want to ask for any help. But I received so many DMs from people asking if they could join me and if they can help others because they want to do something but they don't know how to do it. That somehow, and let me tell you, this was all unplanned. There was nothing planned as such. But then somebody suggested me that why don't we create a group. Somebody gave it a name. One lady in our office, she gave a name, India Cares. Somebody created a logo. Somebody created a WhatsApp group, and things started rolling, and people started joining. And we have about 3,000 people now working with us across the country, even abroad. A lot of NRIs also joined us, and they have been. And let me tell you very, very politely and confess before you humbly that most of India Care work is done by people whom even I don't know. When they do, how they do, they don't even tell me. Uh, in fact, I feel sometimes I feel embarrassed because people thank me on Twitter for things which I have not done. It's done by somebody else, and they say that, okay, Mr. Botra, thank you so much. Your people have done this. But overall, it has been a great experience, and I have seen people doing a lot of things. Last part, which you asked me, how I am doing it. My job now I can see is more of a motivator for the group. I encourage people, I encourage volunteers, I recognize them, I kind of promote their Twitter handles, I promote their name, and I thank them. I call at least 10 to 15 to maybe more volunteers every week, 20, 20, 30 volunteers. I call them personally and say thanks to them. That's how we are doing it. Dharitri.
Excellent. No, this has been so inspiring, Mr. Botra. The other thing I wanted to know is, like you said, people have been asking for different things, for different kind of support. Did you come across people seeking mental health support? Like where they're anxious, there was panic, there was fear, or they wanted some kind of other support? And how did you deal with that?
This part has been really difficult, let me tell you. Initially, of course, people ask for food and medicines and these kind of things. But I have never told anybody this thing that I received. At least till now, I have received about at least 6 to 7 messages that we want to commit suicide. There's somebody sent me a message on Twitter, DM, that said tomorrow morning I am committing suicide. And this is what I just want to tell you, that I like you and I love you a lot or something. I really got kya karenge, matlab, even because I am not an expert, I don't know what to do, how to respond to it. I have never faced a situation. One lady, I can't really forget this. I got a DM in the morning. I saw a DM. One lady says that I'm newly married, 4 persons in the family, husband, wife, and father-in-law, mother-in-law. She said the last 8 days we have not eaten anything. And the other three members other than her, they are planning to commit mass suicide. All 4 of them. And she said, I don't want to die. I don't know what to do. Somebody has suggested me your Twitter handle and I'm sending a message if you can help us. Dharitri, I'm telling you, this message I saw around 10-15 in the morning. I got up late and I sent her 15-20 messages in next half an hour, hoping that they are still okay and they're alive at least, because I would have felt really terrible and guilty that I would, but thankfully after 45 minutes she responded. And then I immediately moved my people in Hyderabad, my personal friends, my batchmates, and something was sent to them in next 30 minutes. Then this is how it happened. So there's, yes, of course, various kinds of, somebody from depression, somebody from hunger, these kind of things are coming. More, one more thing, let me tell you, our own volunteers have been going through a lot of mental trauma. Like, for example, you are helping somebody, you have admitted somebody in the hospital, you have arranged for the blood, you have arranged for the medicine, and after 4 days, the person expires. Now, because you have created a bond with the fellow, with the person, hoping that this fellow will survive, the person dies. So the volunteers, they call me, they cry, कि sir मैं उसको help कर रहा था, now the fellow is gone and I'm feeling very depressed. So of course, it has been a very traumatic experience. Some people, like one lady in Chennai, Vaishnavi Jayakumar, she is expert in these kind of things. She has been helping me because whenever I find such a case, I refer it to her, then she talks. Then we have a few volunteers who are little senior. I give it to them. One lady in Deepa Joshi in Bangalore, I give it to her that please you talk to the person. Then they call the person and talk and console, and we take help of police also. Of course, none of us is an expert, honestly. But जो भी हम लोगों ने सुना है कि आप फोन कर लीजिए, बात कर लीजिए. Some people, because they have trust in me, they have faith in me, and I feel blessed about it. They say, sir, आप एक बार बात कर ले मेरे से तो मेरे को शायद अच्छा लगेगा. I'm feeling very depressed. If you can kindly call me. So I don't get much time, but then ऐसा कोई फोन करता है, ऐसा मैसेज आता है, then I actually call them and talk to them for 10-15 minutes just to console them, and things are okay. Till now, things are going okay. Garitri.
Yes. I mean, it shows how, you've mobilized people, inspired and motivated people to volunteer and support others who are in distress. So how do you plan to utilize this? How are you going to leverage this? You are an influencer, you are a social media influencer, you are inspirational. A lot of people, you are a youth icon. A lot of people look at you and seek advice from you, and now you've got 3,000 volunteers. How do you think you can use them for mental health awareness?
Influencer is not a very good word, I would say. What I hear, not the right word. And I'm 52 years, nowhere a youth myself, so I would not say that I'm a youth icon or anything. But of course, people have been kind to me, they have been supporting me, they have been helping me. Garitri, honestly, this entire thing, India Care thing, nothing has been planned, as I told you. It was not my idea. It was somebody's idea. Somebody gave me the idea, sab aisa bana lijiye. And somebody said, you make this name. So the name we kept. Then somebody, they for five very bright volunteers I have, core group, we call it core group. So they are bright engineering students. So they have created this and that and all kind of things. So in fact, personally speaking, I had a plan to disband this organization, disband this initiative after the pandemic is over. I thought let's have a very informal, loosely built thing, which we will disbanding after the pandemic. But now, because there's a lot of people are attached to it and people have faith in us, and our volunteers have been asking that we should continue with different kind of work. So we are actually of late last 2-3 weeks, we are having a brainstorming sessions with our people to decide how to go about it. Nothing is certain how it will go ahead. What's the road ahead? But of course, any good work, any good thing, be it medicine, it is food, it is helping anybody, connecting good people together. Even this, what you are saying, mental health issues. Of course, everybody has some interest in something, some interest in something. So we are working together, and though we have not thought of it specifically, but of course, we are open to it. No doubt about it.
Thank you very much. Over to you, Namrata.
Thank you so much, sir. That was really interesting. It gives me great pleasure to introduce our third participant today, panelist today, Dr. Ronak Gandhi. Dr. Gandhi is a medical doctor, a holistic health practitioner, a Zen counselor, an enlightenment coach, a TEDx speaker, and a peace ambassador. He is the president of the Zen Counseling Association of India. Dr. Gandhi is the only Indian with the fourth black belt in Kyudo, which is Japanese Zen archery. And he is a trained facilitator in meditation, therapy, hypnosis, and healing arts. Over to you, Dhartri.
Thanks, Namrata. Dr. Ronak Gandhi, thank you very much for being here with us today. You're a physician, a Zen counselor, a healer, and you have an organization that aims to transform people. Kindly tell us, how has this pandemic affected you and people you work with? Because you work with a lot of people, you work with a whole community. So how has this pandemic affected, and what are you doing to heal people? Because we had a very interesting discussion in the morning, and you talked about how our consciousness needs to emerge and move to the next level. So kindly please talk to us about how you are healing others and what you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And before I share, before I answer the question, I would really like to say thank you so much for inviting me, and listening to Dr. Shekhar and Bothra sir is so inspiring to me. And I would say, just to see Bothra sir smile, I think depression will run away. And thank you, Dharitri and Namrita and Vicky, Flo, and all the participants. I would like to share a clip from my TEDx talk that I spoke about Vision 2020. Do you all remember 21st December 2012? It was the last day of Mayan's calendar. What I believe in my heart, that end of the world 2012 was not end of our physical world. It was the end of the old world. The old world has died. Now we are living in a transition of 7 years from 2012 till 2020. If you look back, so many things have changed. Education, business, technology. We are moving towards electric cars. World is celebrating International Yoga Day. People are moving towards healthy lifestyle, meditation, therapy, alternative way of living, communities, brotherhood, peace, love. And we all are part of this transformation. What I also believe, the old tradition of one master and all disciple is also over. In today's time and coming time, we all must become master of our own life. And if we can do that, we have enough knowledge and technology available in our hands. If we work only on one person in our lifetime, that is ourselves. So this is my version that I have read on internet. There was this end of the world in 2012, and I felt in my meditation, and I also read on internet that we are moving, the consciousness is shifting towards 2020 is the beginning of a new world. So I have been speaking about it since 5 years. This TEDx talk is 4 years old. I was also telling people and students and participants that we need to take care of ourselves, not only in terms of mental health, physical, mental, emotional, social, and all the aspects. And this will be working with people, finding the love and inner joy, happiness, and being master of our own life. This profession will be the top 5 profession in the world. And now, since few months, I see there is a lot of need. So this, I was expecting like 2020, it will be a transformation for my life, my work, my center. It will be a golden, it's more like a poetic way. But then this was a sudden surprise. The whole world has stopped. Earth is moving and the life has stopped. So it has affected me equally. And I could see all my flaws. I could see the problems deep inside become so large. And everybody is affected. So how I started, like we started offering free meditation. If I want to change the world, I change the world around me, my friends, my family, and people whom I can reach out. And that's how I have started. And there are two kinds of that feeling down and depression and affecting and uncertainty is there. At the same time, there is so much, like people are relaxed. People spend time with their family. Children are relaxed. Earth, the pollution is so less. Water has become clean. Animals, if you may listen, there is peacock, the sound in the area where I live. So it's difficult to say where we are. It's like really terrible situation. But for some animals and species and our earth, it could be a better world tomorrow. So that's how I take it.
Yeah. So how have you been handling, like, how do you do counseling, Zen counseling, and your healing for people with suicidal tendencies or depression and other mental health issues?
Yes. So Bothra sir, in 2016, I have presented a program on awareness program on International Suicide Prevention Day. So every year, like 8 lakhs people die of suicide in the world and 1,30,000 in India. And what I learned from my teacher is nobody wants to die because we don't know what death is. People are tired of the problems of their life. So what I do, I would like to share a slide. No, it's a very, very simple message, as Dr. Shekhar also pointed out. The pain, let go of the pain by sharing, by exercising, by crying. It's okay. I mean, if you meet your friends or your son or family member, and if you have little tears, it's okay. It will relieve you of the pain momentarily. And then forgive if you feel guilty or anything that is causing more pain. Forgive all the negativity. So negative emotions are the major cause of all the restlessness. Okay. So forgiveness, make friends, like if you ask me how to take care of mental health, I would say laugh. We all should laugh. And, it's so simple, so profound, and be loving, because this is what I teach. Open the heart. Like when we see so many people are suffering, as all these respected personality, they are working, their heart must be like golden heart. They feel people's pain, but then convert them. So be loving, meditate. Meditation, just bring your energy inwards. There are two types of world. One is outside, what you see with your open eyes. One is inside, what you see when you close your eyes, smile, and open your heart center. That will generate a lot of positive emotions in your body. That is a simple technique of meditation. And then there are many different techniques by Osho and by many other teachers. Okay. Be grateful and practice healing statements. These are the statements based on ancient Hawaiian shamanic way of living. I'm sorry, I forgive you, I love you, and thank you. And this can heal someone. So I use all these techniques, and it's different with different person. So we have started offering all the meditations free on our Love channel. We have a YouTube channel, we call it Love channel. We have started offering daily yoga and meditation on gift economy, because we don't, if I talk about I don't know what will happen tomorrow, what I have best, what I can give. Yeah, this is how I handle. And of course, if there is a need, I have, like, there are experts, doctors, psychiatrists, hospitals, government facilities, but this is the core inside, how to feel positive inside.
Excellent. I mean, so soothing. It feels like, okay, we need to go through a counseling session now or meditate. And it's so soothing to hear, listen to you and how you've been working on this. I think, thank you so much. And we will go for the question answers from the audience, because there are a lot of participants who've already told us that they would want to ask questions. Over to you, Namrita.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Dharitri, and thank you, Dr. Gandhi. Well, many Flow members and guests have a lot of questions. So I would like Mr. Devasish Jaina, Principal of City College, Cuttack, to please unmute and ask his question.
Good evening, everybody. So we take online classes as per government direction. So there was a very interesting question from a student. This question is for all the panelists.
So we're not able to hear you.
Can't you hear me? Am I audible?
No, sir.
Not audible? Hello?
Yeah, you can carry.
Not audible?
Your bandwidth is
Not
low.
audible. Oh. Okay. Is it better?
Yeah, it's better. You can carry on, please.
So we take online classes as per government direction. So I was asked a very interesting question by a student that relates to all the panelists. He just asked me, sir, will we be able to buy in the coming months? I was a little confused. I said, what do you mean? I know that he was, he works as a newspaper hawker. His father is a auto rickshaw driver. So father doesn't have any work. This guy goes and gives paper in houses. I said, yes, what do you think? So you will not be able to buy data. So because of the economic crunch, obviously he was meaning that. So when we take online classes, we do try our best to instill some kind of confidence in them that we'll get over the pandemic, this scenario. So what do you think, sir? This kind of questions how can we counsel them better, students, to instill more, strength to their mental ability? Could I be clear, Subila? Did you hear it?
Yes. So the question, panelists, is like mostly students are from poorer background, do not have enough resources to go for online classes. So how does a principal or a teacher instill confidence or assure them to move on?
Wow.
So any one of you can answer, please.
Come in, Dharitri.
Please. Yes, Doctor.
Yeah. I do agree with the question, what you're talking about. At least being able to open up to you as a person. It is for you now to give him alternatives. It is not that this is the end of the thing. whenever we are getting out of certain regular sort of a practices, which itself was a problematic for a person whose father is an auto rickshaw driver and he himself goes for newspaper vending, and coming back to the social situation, this is a reality. Now, is this the only way that he has to be satisfied with the thing? You, as a principal, can give him 2, 3 other alternatives. Also, make him to keep talking to you about his situation and other thing, so that you will be able to further make your presence be along with them rather than he getting further stressed. Number one is that if you are not able to come onto the online, the earlier books, what they had, you can keep studying them. If possible, ask one of the friends nearby, keeping social distance, what has been taught for the day. Earlier we had group learning, but now it's a socially isolated group learnings which can come in. So for every problem, I think there is a way of solving. So problem doesn't end that I have to end my life, like what Ronak and our friend was talking about, Mr. Botra were talking about. For every problem solving, for every problem there is a way to solve the problem. For us to think about quick alternatives, we cannot change the situation of my friend student who had called you. I cannot buy him a Galaxy phone and give him, but there is a way that the earlier books, the old notebook books, what people have studied, whether he can get those books and keep reading them and ask questions to you or to the other friends and all. Some point of a time, like what Gandhi said, we are moving into a new era wherein we have to learn to live and adapt. It is not, technology is not coming to me. We need not look at the same technology. There are other human technologies which are available. Look at alternatives. Simple alternatives do come from we people, common people, like how Putra was able to come in as a gatekeeper. Thank you, my friend principal. You had been a gatekeeper for this boy. Try to keep on asking him and ventilate his feelings first. The more you listen to him, the more he'll be feeling there is a master who is listening to me.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Next, we have Trisha. If you could please unmute yourself and ask the question.
Good evening, everyone. My question is to Dr. Gandhi. How do we deal with the situation? There are times during this pandemic when I go completely blank. So how do I deal with that situation?
Okay. I would say, for a meditator, to go blank, they work so hard for months and years to meditate to be blank. On a lighter note, so you should really be proud of yourself that you are in a state of no mind, number one. And like, you need to tell me blank as in what do you do? Are you a student, or what do you do?
Yes, I'm a student.
Okay, what do you study?
I just gave my boards, 12th boards.
Okay, so are you worried about your future?
Yes, because there are 2 papers left which have not appeared and the results are coming out.
Okay, well, it's I mean, I read a joke, like children were discussing that, the pandemic is the biggest vacation that we have got. So it's your choice, rather than you focus on the problems and issues, or you just see, relax, do you have time for yourself, no study, no exam, maybe study a lot, share with your family, with your friends, pick up something that can make you happy. I mean, am I answering you?
Yeah. Yes.
Relax more, laugh more, dance, because health, so like, I practice holistic medicine, and to me, health in Hindi, Sanskrit means swasthya. And if you split the word swastha, the one who is healthy called swastha. The
Yeah.
meaning of swasth means swa-ast. The one who is centered is healthy. So you can you can improve your health, you can improve your life, or you spend your time in worried about being blank. What do you like to do?
I have almost tried everything during this pandemic, but
Okay.
there are times when you feel like doing nothing. So that has been happening with me for the past 1-2 weeks.
And what do you do when you do nothing?
Absolutely blank, stare at the wall.
Okay. If you listen to the music, or when you feel that kind of blank phases, you can close your eyes, relax, lie down on a couch, and just feel your feelings, what's happening. Just relax more. Do you think it can help you?
Yes, it can.
Or
I'm
you talk to
absolutely
your,
going to try this.
or talk to your best friend. Smile, okay? When you feel blank and you smile, and that will open your heart center. Keep your mouth open and relax. Relax more. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Trisha. And thank
Can
you.
I come to Trisha for a minute?
Yes.
Yes, Dr. Sekar, very would be helpful.
That's a good question, Trisha, that you have gone blank.
Thank you.
It is just for 2 papers you have gone blank.
Yes.
Papers are not going to come back to you. But you can always do the paper sometime. Time is there with us. You will be able to do those 2 papers much more better. And like what Ronak said, you have reached a stage what we wanted to reach. None of us are able to. So simply do a breathing exercise. Don't keep thinking about 2 papers. There are more than 2 lakh students like you who are not able to do this exam. You are not alone. And there will be a way when things will be that better. You can do those 2 exams. Also, you will do a much better post-graduation in your future. Keep that in mind.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We have a question from Dr. Seetal Kumar. Could you please unmute yourself?
Thank you. Thank you. Namaskar, Dr. Sekar, Bharatidi, and Mr. Arun and Mr. Gandhi. So it was very, very good discussions and presentation. And thank you, Dr. Sekar. You are my guru, actually, forever. And we worked many years. Actually, one question I have for you, though now I'm in United Nations and my profession is more dealing with trade and investment as a country head in Myanmar. But my heart is always for psychosocial care. And I trained many countries, including America, including Asia, and including many other, Africa and other countries on psychosocial care. It was my passion, actually. So still I'm struggling to understand actually how how we can make it more popularized in India and other places also. Let's talk about India. And like people are still unable to identify symptoms, and therefore the problem with dealing. Means it's not like when we are having cough or cold, we understand symptoms and we consult or we go for doctor. But psychosocial is not like yet. Create that much awareness. So what are the steps we should take to overcome for these challenges? This is number one. Number two, how we can develop more cadre for psychosocial care or digital psychosocial care, providing psychosocial care in a digital platform, one-to-one support and those things I were talking. So thank you. These are the 2 questions from my side. Dr. Sekar.
Seetal, I'm not a guru. Your guru also learned from you in Kendrapada and other places. Point number one. I keep learning every day from people like you. I learned a lot from you, Damayanti, every one of you back in Odisha.
And Garitri, I'm learning always from her.
Number one, yes, in a physical fever, I can touch my forehead with somebody else where I could understand. When I'm coughing, there is a sound coming, there is a sputum coming. That is physical. But how I am feeling inside, nobody knows until I start crying. There is a sort of a door opening for me to show that I am sad. This could be due to a death. This could be also to the highest level of happiness when something comes to me, my first child on my hand, something rolled down. It doesn't mean that I was feeling sad inside, but I was feeling more happy that a biological entity came out of my own presence. So, well, people need to talk about what is there inside. They also need to now find out that there are certain physiological things which are associated along with that. Like anxiety, there is a sweating, there is a sort of a heart pounding, there is a breathlessness, I am feeling thirsty. These are all signs of anxiety. I am feeling helpless, hopeless, worthless. Why I should live more? These are all part and parcel of depression. Why I am not talking about it? If I talk, they will think that I am pagal, that I am a mentally ill. No. It is occurring to you, it is occurring to millions of people. So we need to have a type of a thing of talking about it, and that is what we are going. Now a digital platform is available for talking about psychosocial support and mental health services as a diploma program. We have started with Odisha State Open University. We are willing to do that for other countries too, provided that we go on a methodical sort of a format. And currently, psychosocial is much on the forefront with Government of India, looking at the mental health situation the COVID-19 is going to bring in. So I am definite there are ways and means. Kindly visit the NIMANS Digital Academy, wherein we are promoting a large amount of creating various cadres of people with certain roles and responsibilities, if not they themselves becoming mental health professionals. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good to hear your voice after a long time.
Can I please add something that?
Yes, Dr. Gandhi.
Yeah. So, yes, psychosocial and our feeling inside and anxiety, depression, stress. Yes, it's a part of us. That means we are alive. What I would like to say here, if we can practice ancient wisdom with the modern science. So I'm a medical doctor, and when I studied body and everything, there are in my medical books, there is no answer. Where do I go after my death? Who am I? In our Eastern culture, we believe in all our scriptures and all our practices that we all are divine. We all are one. We all are together. So if we also have this feeling in us that we all are one, we are part of this divine life, and that would reduce the inner suffering and anxiety automatically, and along with what Dr. Shekhar said, all the other trainings of the modern science. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Next, we have a floor member, Tanvi Hans. Tanvi, could you please unmute and ask your question?
Hi, good evening to all the guest speakers. And my question was that during this pandemic, even after I being a regular practitioner of meditation and yoga, there are times when it is very hard to find out the inner peace. So because everybody is coming to a saturation point of their life, that the pandemic is affecting them now psychologically. So what would you suggest as an alternate to find the inner peace? That's what I wanted to ask.
Well, inner peace, I would say, is not something that once you have found, it will stay forever. It's like when you are hungry, you eat, you satisfy, and then after a few hours, you'll be hungry again.
Yeah.
When you have a good night's sleep, you are relaxed. And once again, maybe next night, you may not have good sleep and you are tired. Inner peace, I call it enlovement, being in a state of love. Okay. But so this inner peace, I call it enlovement, is something you need to find it again and again. And that's why expression, if you have any anxiety, any symptom, any stress, you share, you talk to a friend, you talk to a counselor. If it is severe, talk to a psychiatrist, doctor, get help. But on a day-to-day basis, devote your time in daily practice and friends. Or simply you can come back to your heart and smile. And then you see, it will change. You need to find it again and again. And then you become more and more master of finding it when you need it.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Can
Dr.
we, can I add something here, Amrita?
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Can we, two things I can tell you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Okay. One, what I have understood, see, these are difficult times, not for one person, but for the entire humanity, actually. If you see, a little, I'll go a little spiritual here, because there was a question also for me that how spirituality helps. Spirituality, basically, we think about surrendering to the Almighty, to God or universe or nature or whatever you say. When Bhagavan Krishna was telling Arjun in, say, chapter 2, which they call Sankhya Yoga, he says, Nanu sochanti pandita. Jada dimag nahi lagana chahiye. Nanu sochanti pandita. बहुत नहीं सोचना चाहिए. बहुत विद्वान लोग बहुत नहीं सोचते हैं. And you see the journey of Arjun. Journey of Arjun is symbolic for all of us. He had a lot of doubts. The entire process goes, and in the end, let me tell you, in the end, Arjun says, Karishyami vachanam tave. जो आप बोलोगे वो मैं करूंगा. आप पे छोड़ दिया. Left it to him. जो आप बोलोगे वो करूंगा. सब समझ में आया कि नहीं आया जो हुआ, लेकिन करिष्यामि वचनम तव. जो आपने बोला वो मैं करूंगा. This is, I don't know whether it makes any sense or not, but one thing which I have realized in last 3 months, all of us, we come from say well-off classes. When we are talking on Zoom and discussing these kind of things, there are millions and millions of people across the world and in India and around you, if you say in your, wherever you are in the country, who need your help. Try to help people. You will feel so much of fulfillment, like you cannot believe it. I'm telling you, just try it. आप जब परेशान हैं, अपनी परेशानी थोड़ा भूल के, try to help people. And if you want to know whom you want to help and how do you want to help, just tell me. I have a lot of people who need help. So help people, and this makes you so happy. I'm telling you, I was telling this thing that in 22 years of my service, these 3 months I cannot forget. Because so many people came in my contact, they required so much of help. Small, I'll just tell one very small thing, Tanvi and all others, I'm telling you. One person sent me a message on DM from Indore. He says his daughter is diabetic. She needs insulin injections. He said, I don't have money. My shop is closed for last 3 months. Can you please help me with some money? I said, we don't, as a principal, we don't deal in cash. But I can help you in getting the medicine. You please tell me how much medicine you require. You know what he told me? He said, sir, मेरे को 1500 का दवाई चाहिए, 200 रुपया मेरे पास है, 1300 में मेरे बेटी को दवाई मिल जाएगी. I said, I thought it is one day. I said, कितने दिन का दवाई? एक दिन का 1300. He said, no, 1300 में मेरा 15 days चल जाता है. Now he is asking for 100 rupees a day. What is 100 rupees a day for you and me? We arranged for his, like, the people to help. Something I contribute, something others contributed. And I'm telling you, it was such a satisfying thing. For 2-3 of us, we sent him 2 months medicine, and he was thanking so much. I was thinking, यार इतना क्यों thank you बोल रहा है आदमी? 1500 रुपए के लिए क्या thank you बोल रहा है यार? 1500 रुपए पिज्जा का दुकान में खत्म हो जाता है हमारा. So please help people, and you will feel happy.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. That was really, really nice. Thank you. Next, we have Mihir Mahanti. Mihir, could you please unmute yourself?
Maybe he's not there, Namrita. We can go to the next question.
Okay,
So out of time.
could we have Sunita Mahanti, our Senior Vice Chairperson?
Yeah, good evening, everyone. It was a wonderful session with 3 eminent speakers. And I tell you, I also need this mental health counseling. And today I'm so eased after listening to all of them. I've got 2 questions. I know time is pressing. Well, one for the doctors and one to Mr. Bothra. Mr. Bothra is doing a wonderful job, sir. And you are doing something humanitarian and you are helping. Have you ever felt helpless in these 3 months? Have you ever felt helpless in these 3 months? And how can I be a part of your mission, sir? This is to Mr. Bothra. And yes, sir, you can reply and then I can ask to the doctors.
Yeah, second is first, ma'am. It is not my mission. It's somehow, as I keep saying, that it's Lord Jagannath somehow thought of it, and it is working for people, by the people. This organization has no hierarchy. Nobody is a president or anything like that. There is no office, no registration, nothing. And if required, we will of course ask Dharitri how to go about it, but we don't plan to do it. It's a social media initiative. We have a Twitter handle only. It's a Twitter handle. Anybody can follow it. And once you follow it, somebody will ask you to, they will send a some message to you, and you know how to fill up a small form. Your mobile number, email, and name they will take, and they will, what they do actually, whenever some particular person requires help in your area, they will ask you that this person is requiring help. If you are able to do, please help directly. That's all. So we are basically connecting the people who need help to the people who can help. That's all. So somebody will approach you, and then whatever assignment comes, if you want to take it, it's absolutely on you. Number one. Second, what was the you said something? I'm sorry,
you have been helping people a lot in these 3 months, and you were speaking about
helplessness. Helplessness.
Yes.
You asked helplessness. I'm sorry to tell everybody here that helplessness was almost a daily affair. Almost a daily affair. We helped many people. Then there were issues where we could not do anything, except like these days we are getting a lot of plasma requests. That plasma, that COVID recovered people, plasma is required. We are able to help some people. Sometimes we are not able to do it. Then some people ask for money. Some people ask for jobs. Some people ask for expensive surgeries. All these kind of things. So we have also again, नानु शोचंती पंडिता, ज्यादा दिमाग लगाने का नहीं है, जितना कर सकते हैं कर देते हैं, जो हाथ में आया सब लोग सोच लेते हैं, जितना होता है कर देते हैं, नहीं हो सकता तो भगवान का नाम लेके सो जाते हैं, उसको बोलते हैं भाई नहीं हो सकता. Somebody is asking for 10 lakhs rupees, for example, for a surgery. Of course, none of us can have that kind of money. So helplessness also comes a lot of times. But then we also know we have our limitations, we have our resource limitations and a lot of other things. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir. And this is a question to both of our doctors. Dr. Shekhar was wonderful, very professional in his PPT presentation. And Mr. Gandhi, I tell you, you are real Gandhi. You have taken the Gandhian way, speaking about forgiveness. I love you. I like you. It's very difficult for a normal human being to follow those policies. But at this pandemic time, when we are struggling with this family, our business, how to deal. I feel that each parent is also wanting to know how to deal with the mental uh, health of a child who is very, very proactive and is not allowed to go outside to play even with his playmates, and tell him to see just do indoor games. So how do we deal with the children at this point of time? So this is very, very I think an important question which needs to be addressed.
Yeah, then it's a real challenge what you're posing in front of a mental health professional. How to take care of 5-year-old to that of the 60-year-old like me who also behaves like a child sometimes. Well, the young children, as I showed one of the slides, is to make them, because there'll be a large amount of a motor activity. When I'm talking psychomotor activity, they can't simply sit in one place because there's a large amount of energy where that energy has to be drained out. If that energy has to be drained out within 1,000 square foot is a sort of an issue for us. What I told, if in case persons who could afford a paper and pencil and ask them to put things, varied things in writing, number one. Number two, within the given space, is there a space where they can let out their energy in a positive manner? And also to talk about what all the things they are going about in different type of a medium. And play is one of a very important thing for them. Identify your own states, earlier day play, and you also become a child along with them rather than being a parent and a child. A child to child is a sort of a play what we need to have. I would have gone about saying within my house whether I can put a small swing with my old sari and make him to go up and down in the thing. And later say, I am going to sit, can you push me? It puts a child to challenge. Main dekhunga, case say. Then saying, oh, I fell down. What am I to do? How are you going to do a first aid for me? Take the children at the children level, spend at least half an hour quality time, which is what they are wanting from you. This attention seeking is going to be a part of it. And mind you, as a mother, there is going to be a sort of a clinging syndrome, pulling the pallu of your sari or the chunni of your chudidar all the time and asking for some way out. Come on, now I am going to make some bora. You are going to sit and make exact balls for me. That's a challenge for you. There are ways. Moms find out those ways much faster.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sekhar.
So
Thank you.
I would say that, this lockdown maybe is a result of all the children's prayer worldwide that they want their parents, they want to be more with their parents. And I think it can be a wonderful opportunity for a family to take care of each other. And maybe we as adults, we learn from them. If they ask us a question, I would say, if I don't know, I say, I don't know. And then also make a schedule of a day or any, activities together with children. And mental health, what you asked when you started in the beginning, as a holistic doctor, I would say that it is a byproduct of the life we live, our values and our mission and what we want to do in our life. This is a new situation. And I don't think this situation can stop my purpose of life. And I will adjust according to it. If that makes sense, if I answered your question. And, have as much fun, dance, karaoke with children.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Gandhi. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sunita. Thank you, Dr. Gandhi and Dr. Sekhar. Next, could we have Arpita, Executive Director for Hamara Bachpan Trust? Can you unmute yourself, please?
Yeah, hi Namrata. Please tell me. Yeah, hi, this is Arpita.
Yes, you also had a question?
Yeah, actually, sometimes it happens like we know where the problem is, we know what is the reason behind our stress, and knowing everything also, we are not, um, able to work on those things. So, I mean, what should be the next course of action by the time? What we should do in that time?
I think anyone can take this.
As I would say, this happens that, many times we get affected. I would say, don't fight with it, accept it. Because the more we fight with this issue, it becomes bigger. That's my input in this.
Thanks,
Accept it.
Dr. Gandhi. Yes.
And it
Yes.
may go away in a while.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So I would now like to call Chairperson Dharitri Patnaik.
I think we had one last question from Sucheta.
So actually, Sucheta and Sunita's question were the same.
Okay.
She's like, it's answered now.
Okay, thank you.
Over to you.
We've sat here for 1.5 hours, and I still want this to continue, but we all have to go back to our work. I can't thank all the panelists enough. So Dr. Sekar, thank you very, very much. Dr. Ronak Gandhi, thank you very much. Mr. Arun Bothra, you've always been a friend and guide and philosopher now. So thank you very, very much for always supporting us. And this has been an incredible session, listening to the three of you, the kind of questions. We've had some questions I was looking at from the audience, and most of them are all anxiety related ones. So I think we should all, in whatever we are doing, I know there are people from Puri district administration here. We've got NGO staff, we've got people from all different sectors and segments listening to this. And I would suggest that we should follow the tips that Dr. Sekar, Mr. Bothra, Dr. Gandhi give. Listen, be compassionate, talk to people. And if you find that there's some real issue, let's refer them for expert advice or for therapy or to the doctors. And my takeaway from this is NIMHANS, which is the premier institute on mental health, has a lot of resources, and we all should tap into those resources. So I would request the government, the NGOs, and also FICCI Flow to tap into NIMHANS resources and see how we can leverage those resources. And Mr. Bothra, excellent job in mobilizing people, inspiring them to help others. And we'll see how your cadre can also get maybe a training by NIMHANS, or if those who are interested. And we can have a lot of people like mental health professionals or para-professionals, foot soldiers. Same with Dr. Gandhi, what you're doing, the healing and the transformation. So today we had these three different ways of addressing the connectivity. That is what we're calling about mind and matter. That's what leads to our consciousness, and that's who we are. And I think we will also seek your support, Dr. Gandhi, in addressing this and healing. So thank you very much. Thank you for all those who are participating, all those who are viewing us on YouTube. Thank you very, very much. Thank you, Dr. Jaina, Principal, City College, Cuttack, for being here with your students. There are a lot of students watching us today and who've got a lot of issues, and we hope to reach out to each of them. And I'm sure each of you can heal yourself. Like Dr. Gandhi said, it's our consciousness, it's our inner self. Let's look within to heal ourselves, transform ourselves, and be prepared for this new world. And not to fear, not to feel the stigma, and just move on. And like Dr. Sekar said, this is, we'll all get over this. And so there's a silver lining to this. So thanks all of you for being here, and let's work together. So in healing ourselves first and healing others around us, and pay attention, be nice, and listen, and be attentive and compassionate. Thank you, everyone. And thank you, my Flow members, my incredible team who's always there and supporting me. And thank you, Namrita, for moderating and connecting us with a treasure, a precious soul like Dr. Gandhi. Thank you very much. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Sekar. Thank you. Thank you, Bothra sir. It was wonderful.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, Gandhi sir. Thank you. Thank you, Namrita. Thank you, Dharitri.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye-bye.